outplayability.
Yes.
But RSG MY is just going to be a super bulky matchup that can just run at them if they are not careful. If we look at the lineups once again, as you can see, where they have Ballman, they've got Ruby, they got Cho. It's very difficult for SUHAZ to play around that, as well as the crossbow of Tang being threatened the whole time. But if Ling and Paquito can get into the backlines, get that 100 to 0, then it's not really going to matter, is it? Let us find out, because the Land of Dawn greets the screen once more.
Welcome to game number 1 for first best of 3 here today. Week number 3, day number 3 on a Sunday afternoon. SUHAZ Esports on the blue side, RSGMY on the red side. Traditional purple buff start from SUHAZ Esports, and the same goes for RSGMY. It's going to be extremely important for information gathering. Hawk discovers that purple buff is here. Maybe he forces the retribution. Yes, he does, but now he's in a lot of trouble. Forces the flicker out, tries to get away. Finch points already coming through. HY unable to make it there in time as CT Norsana takes him out. First blood achieved by SUHAZ.
I'm personally not a big fan of Ruby invading level 1 simply because compared to other tanks, Ruby doesn't have a lot of ways to annoy the enemy jungler. But if Hawk sacrificing his life allowed Link Eza to steal the orange buff away, that is actually somewhat worth it, and that's exactly what Link Eza has done.
Honestly, I do think that it worked against them a little bit, right? Because it's about Lethal Wanderer here. Link Eza, he does get the Lethal Wanderer, but he loses one camp in the process. However, it's just good adaptation from RSGMY to go for the buff steal.
Yeah, I think it's pretty smart there. I wonder if Hawk sacrificing his life was intentional to allow for that orange buff steal, but I think if he was able to survive that, it would have been a bit more ideal. From what you can see as well in the gold lane right now, Loliel's going to be on top here, the weakness finder, going to be doing a lot of damage to the Claude, and Hawk is here as well to make sure Ikimon cannot stop him.
Now, talking about unintentional mess-ups, I will say that Hawk's death did cost HY his lane. CT Norsana was ahead of him, level 4, did use his flicker pretty early on. HY hasn't, but he has evened up the score. Now that they're equal in lane for now, CT Norsana is just going to wait until this next wave crashes, hit level 5, and then HY is going to be at a disadvantage again.
But we can see it here again. They're challenging the purple buff. Jenny and Razin are both here, but Link Eza will be able to secure it more easily. If not, for CT Norsana coming in with the dope man knockout strike. Link Eza gets taken out by Razin. Here comes the cult altar. They find Loliel. They find Hawk. Actually, wait, Loliel's got taken out in the bottom lane instead. 3 kills going to SUHAZ.
Wow. Wow, I didn't expect Lolios to die, but overall the idea was there for RSGMY. Unfortunately, you gotta remember, CT Norsana on this Paquito, early game hero, Paquito does damage.
Yeah, that's again part of the fact that he did end up winning the EXP lane because of that early game play. Got the 2-man knockout strike, instantly setting up the kill onto Link Eza. That is not ideal at all. Ballman should not be dying to Ling at this stage of the game, and that is going to make a pretty big difference here. SUHAZ already has that 1.5k net worth lead.
Well, I wouldn't say it's making a difference yet. Now, it's going to come down to whether or not Turtle gets taken away by SUHAZ Esports. And, well, SUHAZ, they're rotating. They see Izanami as well as Hawk. They're going to take the advantage here as they jump forward. Numenon Blast forcing Hawk to flicker away, and as well as Izanami to use the sprint.
That's a valuable battle spell wasted away from the Ruby, so there's gonna be no flicker hook here, but the turtle has already been secured by Link Eza, taking advantage of SUHAZ's presence in the bottom lane. But speaking of bottom lane, Blazing Duet not gonna save Awumon. Loliel surviving with a sliver of HP. Jenny looking for it, but now he's stuck. He has to use the cult altar to escape the real world manipulation.
Wow, how is that? How is Jenny not getting hit by the real world manipulation right at the edge there? I felt like he definitely should have taken a little bit of damage, but I think it's fine. Link Eza trying to steal away. Razin going to be using his Blade of Tempest. Unfortunately, still doesn't get the purple buff so far. As they try and back away, HY now in a little bit of trouble. Flickers off and uses his Shunpo to close out and get away. Oh, SUHAZ. Razin, unfortunately, no purple buff for him.
This is always the threat you have of playing a Ling. You need to have heroes that can protect this purple buff. RSGMY, they're aware of this, so they're drafting a much tankier lineup that can just run into the jungle and steal the buff away. Link Eza on this Ballman being a core linchpin of that strategy.
Oh, Link Eza taking quite a bit of damage. Ikimon still hurts for now, but Loliels needs to make sure that he stays alive in his lane to farm up as much gold as he possibly can. CT Norsana continuing to dominate HY in lane with a significant gold lead, might I add, but RSGMY sticking to their guns. It's all about scaling. Just take your time with this. There's no need to rush.
They do have the free win button, as you put it, in the form of that 1-1 once we achieve that late game. And on the opposite side, the only one that can deal with that crossbow of Tang is going to be Jenny with that Purify. Otherwise, the Cult Altar timing has to be perfect. Still waiting to see how the interaction between these ultimates will go as well.
We'll find out in a little bit here as Link Eza continues to extend his EXP lead over Razin so far, but Razin wants to jump into this fight as Jenny walks on forward with a Shadow Stampede. Call Altar pop right under the turret. They're going to go for a full-on dive because Nami now in some trouble with crossbow of Tang pops for only 2 seconds. It may not be enough, but it's enough to get them out of the situation. Ikimon the next to fall. A double kill already achieved by RSG. Played perfectly as HY forces out the battle mirror image coming in from Abumon, and this is going to be another kill for Loliels.
Beautifully played by RSGMY and instantly skewing the net worth lead back into their favor. The Cult Altar dive just went completely wrong for SUHAZ, and although they only got 2 seconds of that crossbow of Tang, it was enough to keep Loliels out of danger and turn the tables. I feel like that final battle mirror image, Abumon should have taken his chances with HY over teleporting back into 4 members of RSG, but in those sort of situations, it's hard to really say what's the correct decision.
Truly, it truly is. But with that being said, it does mean that HY does catch up in terms of EXP against CT Norsana. Loliel's now taking full advantage of the situation as bot tier 1 is down. It's going to be the mid lane under trouble. HY takes some damage from CT Norsana, but overall, neutral objectives and the lane swap has been successful. They should be able to trade top tier 1 for bot tier 1.
Right now, what SUHAZ Esports needs to do is to defend their structures and try to see if they can take advantage by split pushing, because this is where RSG is strongest. Real manipulation comes out. They're aiming down Jenny. No Cult Altar. Killing spree to Loliels with the crossbow of Tang as well, forcing out the templates of Blades. Razin will escape, but not before they lose City Norsana as well.
I mean, this has delayed them. 2 kills fall into the hands of RSGMY for bottom tier number 1. Claude is trying to farm as fast as he can through the mid lane as well. Sees Link Eza. He's going to get some good damage down. Actually, wow. That's a lot more damage than I would have expected. Probably the full stacks from the Art of Thievery, but finally, top tier 1 goes down to RSGMY.
What we have to note is that SUHAZ Esports does still have pretty good late game scaling with the Claude as well as the Ling. So if they are able to avoid getting picked off like this with the Way of the Dragon onto City Norsana, setting up for the crossbow of Tang, just nearly is not able to take out HY.
Oh, that was so very close. If we got HY, that might have been a little bit more worth it. But so far, Loliels is having a great game. 4-1 and 4, and now threatening the tier 2 turret and has to trade it because Claude just stole it away on bot side.
And you can see that Loliels by himself is enough to threaten away Razin since he's not able to keep control over his purple buff. Jenny as well, nearly dying, has to use the Cult Altar. Ikimon will be able to stop the real world manipulation, allowing him to get out, but that means that ultimate is on cooldown.
Yep, right on the dot, the 8-minute mark, we see RSGMY making rotations towards this Lord. Purple buff, don't need it right now. Just focus on these objectives because RSG in the lead. SUHAZ has to play catch up here.
Berserker's Fury now on Razin as the kick from HY onto City Norsana once again, setting up for the crossbow of Tang, transferring over to Jenny. Oh, he just barely survives thanks to the additional shield, but that is 1 man down. Lord taken mid-tower, gonna drop to RSG.
RSG, no fear. They keep on pushing forward, taking the tier 1 mid-turret is looking great with Lord about to spawn. This is gonna be some tough work for SUHAZ Esports. They need to defend this.
But this is, of course, only the first Lord of the game. RSGMY want to see if they can take as many towers as possible with this, but if SUHAZ are in good enough position, it should be able to get by without doing too much damage at all. Considering they are 4K behind, though, it's going to be difficult to find that position in the first place.
Let's not forget that SUHAZ Esports, their composition isn't great at wave clear. Yes, they have a lot of split push. Yes, they can delay waves, but clearing waves contested against RSGMY. RSGMY have an advantage. Numenon Blast. Oh, lands on the two-bladed Tempest. Lands on 3, but doesn't get the center as the Call Altar pops just in time. They take out 2. They found a hole, and now Loliels, if he can pop off here, too late. As soon as the Call Altar expires, SUHAZ backs off.
That's a very textbook example of a split second of hesitation. Hawk wanted to go in and get the I'm Offended to stop the Numenon Blast, but here comes Lolius. He actually got all the weakness points.
No!
Monster kill with the crossbow of Tang and gets out with Link Eza tanking the tower.
Oh, that's so sad. Ikemon's Guardian's Bulwark timed out right at the last 3 shots, and that's all they needed to secure that kill. A little sad, but hey, it happens.
Ooh, that's rough. SUHAZ now still 3k behind. All things considered, not that bad considering how much pressure RSG has been putting on them. But fall any further than this and it's gonna be rough, especially with City Norsana getting comboed in the mid lane.
Don't know why he's pushed up so far forward, especially since the minions have not spawned yet. And they know that RSG MY has gone past the river line. So again, phase checking like that isn't ideal. Luckily, he didn't use an important battle spell, but this is going to cost them tier 2. Wait, HY getting pulled over the wall with the Shadow Stampede, but it's not going to be enough. Shunpo is still a very useful ability. Inhibitors being threatened all across the board, but you can see that Razin, he's looking to try and scrape gold in the side lane.
We have been seeing Ling players do this a lot. When they are behind, they are going to be the ones in charge of split pushing simply because of the mobility the hero has. He's now going to take away their purple buff. Looks like Loliel is coming in just a bit too late to secure it away. And that means that Razin actually will be enabled for a little while.
Yeah, he didn't notice. They're going to see 2 people down bot side. This is a good time to engage. Oh, they missed the opportunity. RSG MY, they pull back towards the safety of mid-tier 1's turret. With 12 more seconds on the clock, this next Lord is going to be pretty important. And I think RSG MY, they want to wait a little bit longer for the 12-minute. Hawk gets pulled back, but no full initiation from SUHAZ.
Yeah, their main DPSs are not here right now, and Abumon needs a bit more time to build up his Art of Thievery stacks, which means that RSG will get started on this Lord. HY gonna get caught out with the Shadow Stampede, but he's still fine for now. They might 50-50 this. Razin looking for the entry, but Link Eza gets it, but here comes the Cult Altar. HY real low, gonna get, actually he is still alive, but the same can't be said for Izanami and Loliel. Shut down, double kill, going over to Razin in the back line.
Poor decision coming in from RSG MY. They decide to take the 50-50 when all they had to do was just play it slow, wait until the 12th minute, and then they can do a lot more. But instead, they lose 2 of their members, no Luminous Lord, and this is going to be an easy defense for SUHAZ Esports.
That's just a cascade of mistakes there. RSG MY, suddenly their net worth lead going down from 3k to 1.2, and this is going to allow SUHAZ Esports to regain a foothold here on the map. Again, they have the Ling, they have the Claude. Their late game potential is completely even with RSG, with that Cult Altar as well. So this game can very much still go either way.
Yeah, and so far, RSG MY, they're looking good here with Loliel 6-2 and 4. If we pull up the item list, I'm guessing by now he's already got that. He's got about 3.5 items as of right now, based on 37,000, I would assume.
Well, we can't really say for sure until we do actually see the item build come up. But for now, the Lord has already been cleared out. Another 100 seconds before it comes back up. We're going to be seeing HY try to make attempts to pick people off while allowing more space for Loliels to farm in the backline. SUHAZ Esports need to continue to try and secure farm over for Abumon because he is actually farming up quite well. Only 1 item away from a full build.
Yeah. 4 items fully completed for the side of Loliel's. Hawk currently at 2, and 1 component, Izanami at 3. And he just needs a little bit more to survive this next upcoming fight here. At the 42k mark, they should all have their next item components built. SUHAZ Esports, however, have evened up the score very, very well. And now it's 50-50, the score 8-11.
You can also see that RSG and Y have a lot of physical defense materials in their item builds right now. Basically all of them going for armor to counteract Razin as well as Abumon. Since the late game heroes on SUHAZ all do physical damage, meaning that RSG will be able to take fights a little bit better in the near future. But if we look at that Lord push advantage, as we mentioned, them not being patient resulted in a loss of gold and EXP.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Now SUHAZ, once again, back even Stevens against RSGMY, but now they're going to try and engage. They find the initial kick on towards Abumon's side. Call Altar's already put. They get sucked in together here as the real world manipulation getting immense value. The backline getting attacked. Izanami's going to go down for this, but unfortunately, they haven't taken out Loliels. He's going absolutely nuts in the middle of 3. Drops down with the winds of nature, but he can't seem to proc. Get his ult off in time. Not enough weakness points. The last one being dodged each time. SUHAZ Esports trade against RSGMY 2 for 1.
That was just absolute chaos right there. RSG going in, HYSY getting a beautiful kick onto Abumon specifically. Cult Altar coming out, but because SUHAZ Esports were all bundled up, they got a 3-man I'm offended. RSG now actually still trying to go for the Lord. Razin looking for the 50-50, no purple buff, but he is in position.
No
but
way.
They're actually giving it up.
There's no way. You cannot beat lethal counter plus retribution. Doesn't matter what level you are, it's like you have 2 retributions on the side of Link. That's the beauty of Balmond, and I think SUHAZ made a good choice here. No point. You're already at a man disadvantage. No point trying to look for a pick. They're really clumped up together, and Ruby, just so much value like how we saw in that previous fight. The I'm offended pulling them together to buy that extra bit of time despite the call Altar.
Yeah, okay, understandable there. I feel like at the very least, Razin himself could have tried to go for the retry and then immediately made the decision to back off. But I suppose I can understand as well, they're afraid of RSG just diving them straight in, considering how their tanky comp is going to be able to do that. But with the Luminous Lord now pushing down bottom lane, this is going to be a pretty important defense.
Yep, HY could potentially look for a flank here, but he's going to cut the wave on the top side as RSGMY almost guarantee bottom inhibitor. And now, with a delayed synchronization coming in from RSGMY, they're going to slowly stack the waves one by one. They will start crashing in, as they want to make sure that they have no defense for the side of SUHAZ Esports. They break mid inhibitor, and now it's going to be top to be the very last. Izanami just holding on to that real war manipulation as Razin might be in some trouble. Forces out the ult from him. HY still a threat, and now they have cracked open the base. They're going to force SUHAZ Esports to join in the middle of the fight. Call Altar already popped. The kick goes down onto Ikimon as Abumon drops down the blazing duet. It's not going to be enough here as Lolios has been untouched throughout this fight. Link Eza with the immortality walks away. HY already punished. They're so low. Dropping the winds of nature here. Abumon wants to go even further. They're calling a fight. They're calling to take him out.
Ooh.
Ruby is dead. Lolios, unfortunately, still alive. Has the crossbow of Tang. Razin jumps into the middle, but still makes the distance. Divine Blades going to be able to catch him off. A 3-for-0 trade in favor of SUHAZ, but Razin, can he get on out of there? Almost have enough damage from Fish Boys. No! Lethal counter to ensure there is no escape.
That was a pretty big mistake by RSG though. They're now 3-man down, and SUHAZ might be able to take some structures right here. RSG did a good job of taking out all 3 inhibitors in a single push, but stayed a little bit too long. Their cooldowns were expended, and SUHAZ took full advantage of that, running them down. A good play by Lolios with the crossbow of Tang were not quite enough. The problem right now is, though, there's still enough members of RSG to prevent this push.
Yep, HY in the middle of the fight. They do see Ikimon. He's going to kick him back. Call Altar from Jenny. No, are they going to expand it? They wait for the immortality to pop before they try anything new. Ikimon, he wants to live, but they say no. Real world manipulation ensures his death.
I don't know if it was really necessary to use the real-world manipulation there to grab that kill. I wonder if Link Eza just didn't want to use lethal counter or if it was on cooldown, but that inhibitor did not need to die. A bit of a slow response from RSGMY.
Yeah, that is just a little sloppy, I'm not going to lie, but RSGMY will have control over the Lord for now. Let's see how SUHAZ is actually going to play this out. They could look to the lanes. Ling needs that purple buff, and RSGMY, they have the timing down. They know Ling won't be able to join the fight because he is so dependent on the purple buff.
Feels a little passive from SUHAZ Esports, but I think this is actually the correct decision. Again, with the Balmond on the side of RSGMY, there's basically no way SUHAZ can secure these objectives without first taking him out, and that's gonna be basically impossible without blowing up a full 5v5 team fight. They know that they have the potential to defend the Luminous Lord with the Cult Altar. Better hedge their bets on that than take chances with a big team fight at this stage of the game.
Yeah, no, I think I would agree with you there. I think SUHAZ Esports are banking on the fact that RSGMY is going to make another mistake because so far RSGMY closing out these games have been rather difficult, and especially against SUHAZ Esports, we've seen multiple punishments being happen every single time they kind of try to force an engagement in SUHAZ Esports' base.
But with the Luminous Lord pushing in now, Hawka finds the two-man. I'm a fed. Cult Altar too late. They'll be kept alive with the immortality as the Cult Altar comes in. Blazing Duet not doing enough damage. They're still going to survive all of this though. Razin escapes from the backline. Luminous Lord still healthy. No casualties just yet. But SUHAZ are dropping real low. So is RSG though. Lolils pops his immortality. He doesn't have that anymore. City Norsana somehow still alive despite being in the center of all of that. He fights Lolils in the back line. The Lord will be taken out. RSG has to make a hasty retreat.
Good catch coming in from CT Norsana, waiting for the last second to go in for the jab, pretty much blowing up Loliels. Loliels has to remember he is still an extremely squishy marksman, and I'm fairly certain that CT Norsana has decided to go for at least 2 damage items.
We're now in the late game. This is where SUHAZ Esports' lineup is going to be the strongest, and you can see the hesitation on RSG. Most of them have already completed their builds. Lots of immortalities on the side of RSG as well, and still not enough to push in.
What? Albumon decided to go for Ha's Claw at the very end here. I guess his immortality is on cooldown. Hawk getting chased down by CT Norsana. Razin waiting for the right opportunity, but RSGMY, their mistakes have costed them quite a bit in terms of objectives as well as time.
In terms of structures, though, RSG still does have the advantage. They still have their mid-tier 2. They still have 2 inhibitors up. The net worth difference at this stage of the game isn't going to matter too much. But SUHAZ right now do actually have control over the map. And with the Lord coming up in 30 seconds, we could be looking at comeback potential against RSG.
Yeah, I mean, even with the Lord push advantage, you can see that they are losing gold and EXP every single time that they actually achieve a Lord take. But SUHAZ Esports, I think they just play this nice and slow. They're waiting for RSG MY to make the mistake. They don't have to do any crazy plays. They can play responsive.
Yeah, this is a very SMG style of play. Wait for mistakes to happen and then take full advantage of that. And against a team like RSG, where we can definitely see their desperation and aggressiveness starting to take its toll, this kind of strategy is especially effective. But the Lord is back up right now.
Yep, CT Norsana gets a double knock-up strike onto Hawk as he face checks. Now Hawk has enough items to just face tank it. Now he can face check it and not really have to worry about too much. This 50-50 here, RSGMY, hopefully they don't get punished again.
Razin is actually going to be split pushing bottom lane. CT Norsana has to deal with the mid wave as well, so RSG can actually take this. SUHAZ, they might not want to take the risk again, but they're actually going for it. Numenor Blast gonna get cancelled by the I Am Offended. Here comes the Cult Altar. Razin in the back line. Abumon taken out. Razin taken out. Cult Altar gonna be popped by the crossbow of Tang. Ikimon in a lot of danger. 2-man Jeet Kune Do. Now 2-man knockout strike will prevent them from following up. Jenny might have to be sacrificed here as Lolils, he wants to push straight in. RSG is delaying the rest of SUHAZ to allow him to end the game. Ikimon is here to defend, but they don't have enough wave clear. CT Norsana is the only one that can deal with these minions. RSG, they're just gonna delay him. Jenny gets taken out, but the minions are still here. Numenor Blast is coming out. Link is on H-Roy on top of the crystal. 2-man knockout strike. They're going for it. They end it.
Oh, that was getting a little too close for comfort. SUHAZ almost pulling it through, but RSG finally close out this game.
I don't really know what to say about that game right now. It was a good victory from RSGMY, but man, did they have to jump through a lot of additional hurdles to achieve it.
Yeah, so much hoop jumping here. Well done. GG well played to RSG, but it definitely